Ben-Hur. It's odd to say that this film deserves more love. It still holds the record for most Oscar wins, now tied with Titanic and Return of the King. It was the second highest grossing film in its time, only surpassed by Gone with the Wind, and to this day it's regularly placed on top 10 lists of the best epics of all time. Regrettably, time goes by, and since its release in 1959, the film's relevancy has declined steadily. Nowadays, outside of filmy circles, I don't know many people who've even heard of Ben-Hur, let alone seen it, and the god-awful 2016 remake only helped to push it further into history. I'd make the case that, bar a few things, this movie is as enjoyable now as the day it came out, and you should absolutely go and watch it if you haven't already. Sure, it clocks in at 3 hours 45 minutes, there's even an intermission which I think we should bring back, but everybody suppressed their millennial attention spans to sit through Endgame, and a good number of you actually asked for the Snyder Cut. Just stick it out. Besides, this is a great movie to get chores done to. When I was a kid, my parents described this as a Sunday afternoon film, which means that my dad had a nap, my mum got a buttload of ironing done, and my sisters read a book or something, and meanwhile I just sort of stared at the screen blankly, not understanding a word that anybody was saying. There's a fine Netflix-sized line where something is simultaneously background noise and really engaging at the same time. Setting aside the length, which I stress again is totally worth it, Ben-Hur is huge in every single other way. It's one of those historical epics that spent a ridiculous amount of money building gigantic sets, designing lavish costumes, and hiring thousands of extras, and the effect is genuinely immersive. There's not a single moment that you notice a matte painting in the background, or a cardboard cutout, for instance. It's a cliche, but they really don't make them like this anymore, since you can achieve a similar effect with smaller sets and VFX at a fraction of the cost, a tendency that maligned cinema for a good couple dozen years. They didn't have the benefit of those circular screen things, like in The Mandalorian, to bodge a larger environment, so it's kind of crazy to think of what an endeavour it was to make something like this. The plot spans the 5-ish year journey of Judah Ben-Hur, played by the late Charlton Heston, as he goes from riches to rags to riches again, swapping roles throughout the story as a Judean prince, a Roman consul's adopted son, a galley slave, and a chariot racer. For the most part, it's a classic revenge tale, with Judah and his family being betrayed by his best friend, the Roman tribune Messala, no relation to Chicken Tikka, and him earning his way back home through selflessness and chariot racing. The relationship between Judah and Messala is one of the best reasons to watch the movie, and I want to emphasize the word relationship, because this is one of the most homoerotic movies ever released. There's more sexual tension in a single scene of Ben-Hur than all of Brokeback Mountain combined.
After all these years, still close. In every way.
I'm not even shipping. The main scriptwriter literally wrote Messala as if he were a spurned lover, and suggested to the actors that they perform their first scene as if they were a reuniting couple. I love seeing movies near the end of the Hays Code era, where they're kind of pushing the boundaries of what they're able to do in film legally. Like, oh, they embraced for more than 3 seconds! No! Scandalous! There's a real sense that these are tragic Romeo and Juliet-esque star-crossed lovers, with the Jewish Judah and the Roman Messala forbidden to be together. It genuinely breaks your heart to never see them hit the sheets. But the sexual tension continues all the way throughout the film. A scene when Judah is a galley slave is particularly memorable, when Roman consul Arius comes to inspect the rowers and notices a spirit that separates Judah from the rest. In the scene that follows, which is excellent by the way, he tests the rowers' endurance by ordering them to row at increasing speeds, all the while making intense, unbreaking eye contact with Judah as he gets all sweaty. You honestly feel like you're intruding. Also, the music in this scene will be in your brain for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Every romantic scene between a man and a woman, meanwhile, is completely lifeless and unbearably long. I don't know if it was just the acting style of the time, but Haya Hararit, playing Esther, Judah's love interest, has the same expression throughout the entire film, and it's both distracting and hilarious when it really shouldn't be. Probably the worst parts of the movie are when Jesus butts in. Yeah, this is a Jesus movie, actually. His presence provides kind of a framing narrative for the story, giving Judah some essential character development and familiarizing the background of Roman Jew political tensions. But it's always kind of jarring when he pops up. It's a little bit like when you run into someone you sort of but not really know at the shops and you feel obliged to have a longer than comfortable conversation with them. Characters will interrupt the super compelling Count of Monte Cristo story with long monologues about following stars and how wonderful Jesus is, and it derails the mood every time.
What the fuck is all of this?
Greatest story ever told, Story Lord.
No, it's not. It's awful. I beg your pardon?
If there's anything else I had to say against the film, it is a little awkward when Hugh Griffith shows up in blackface as an Arab sheikh. But he plays the character with so much charm, some refreshing humour, and your mileage may vary, but I was more than willing to forgive it as of its time. But enough about the bad, because that's literally all that you can complain about. Possibly. And I haven't even gotten to the chariot race yet. You see, not only is Ben-Hur one of the best movies ever made in general, it's also sneakily one of the best sports movies ever made. About halfway through, Judah's whole revenge plan somehow revolves around beating Masala in a chariot race, and it's awesome. A frankly insane amount of work went into the chariot race, and it shows. You can feel the thundering horse hooves because they really did charge 78 horses around the ring for 3 months. You flinch and gasp when the racers crash or scrape up against the walls because they really built the 18-acre arena, then crashed a bunch of chariots in it for the shot. You're personally invested in every second because they really trained Heston and Boyd and popped them in the driver's seat to glare at each other. You're glued to the screen because of the incredible long shots tied together with claustrophobic close-up encounters. It's 7 minutes of pure intensity, concluding one of the best revenge stories ever told, and few action scenes since have been able to match it. Even if you don't love Ben-Hur, it probably influenced everything you do love. John Williams' whole musical style, which continues to dominate movie franchises to this day, can trace its origins to Miklos Rozsa's stunning score. The clever mix of set building, scale models, and map paintings was employed again to awe-inspiring effect in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The chariot race is so perfect that George Lucas made the pod race scene in The Phantom Menace an almost shot-for-shot remake, something that our resident Star Wars fanatic and only living fan of The Phantom Menace, Tom, should really appreciate. In short, Ben-Hur is like an awesome granddad. Definitely of its time, and a little awkward nowadays, but it's got some epic stories to tell, and laid the foundation for what you've got today. I think that earns a viewing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe to my OnlyFans. Specifically, I want to know if there's any golden oldie types from like the 50s that you think are overlooked now in the modern day. Leave a comment with any of those you think of. Thanks very much. Bye for now.